Alright guys, welcome. So I'm making this quick video to share the most important mind frames that you need to implement to see success in organic dropshipping. Because up till this day, the number one reason why I was able to, test as many products and eventually find my winner, and now I'm working on a new winner, is because of the mindset which I had to develop over years. And until this day, I keep on developing because it's an ongoing process. Nobody's perfect. It's more like I'm sharing what worked for me out of personal experience so that hopefully you guys can, relate or keep on keep account of these things that you need to train yourself off every single day. It's literally training. You need to train your mind to eventually take things from the conscious to the subconscious. That's what we mean by mind frame. So the first thing I want to talk about is delusion. This is one thing which you may have heard as being detrimental to success in general, and I'm gonna be gonna give you first-hand experience on why this is important. Being delusional about your goals is really important because every single time you share any sort of idea or goal, even if it was to your most loved ones, there's gonna be like a different array of feedbacks. It could be ranging from good to bad, but the best mindset is to not even care to ask about others' approval or feedback about your idea, because oftentimes if you give it to the wrong person, they're gonna give you a negative feedback, and that may sit in your mind for long enough until it crashes your idea. So this applies to products in this scenario. So if you're thinking about running a product, but you ask someone who's not professional enough into having the eye of knowing what is a winner and what is not a winner, then they may just give you bad advice, and then you end up not even testing the product. So that's one regarding picking the product. But then two is about the long vision of the product. So the harsh truth is, regardless of how good your mentor or the other person is that you're talking to, there is this level of chance. Okay, there's a chance that whatever product you pick, if you actually are so faithful enough that this product is gonna print, like you're gonna turn it into a brand. So preferably if you have some sort of experience to back up your decision, or if you've seen the criteria which I've made before, because that's literally the end result of my failures, which I turned into a criteria to see what is a winner. And if you can, pick a product and you have this long-term vision that, okay, this ticks all the boxes, I can turn this into a long-term consistent brand organically, marketing it, then you don't even need any person's opinion about your product, even if the other guy is a mentor. Because like I'm telling you from my experience, the first winner I had, there were a lot of doubters, but I ran it anyway. I ended up building like this, sugar coating around it, which is called brand, right? Branding is all about marketing. It's not necessarily about the logo on the product or anything. Obviously that would help. So having a logo on the box or the product itself will put you, it would distinguish you as a brand more than others. But the bottom line is, it's all about marketing. So that's one. And the website, really important. Number two, the second really important mind frame to have is speed. Speed is, until this day, something that I am constantly trying to get better at, because what I keep on realizing more and more day by day is that speed is the number one trait that all successful people have. That's the bottom line statement I have about speed. Especially when I was, when nothing was going my way, what were the traits that were keeping me away from finding my first winner and other goals in life was procrastination. Speed, on the other hand, is the number one trait or way for you to actually not only find your next winner, but also just succeed in life. So speed is something that you need to get better at, and I'm gonna couple this with a third point, which is faith. So faith is gonna help you with speed, and faith is in two things. Preferably if you have faith with God, so that's one, and then two, faith in yourself. So having faith in yourself is gonna like dramatically help you with your own journey, because you're gonna have a vision which others don't, regardless of the product or the goal that you set. If you have faith in yourself, sooner or later you're gonna find a way to make it happen. So it's really important to have faith. One thing which I see most people require, especially after they start making their first few sales here and there, is being rational. You need to be very rational. What do I mean by that? You need to be like remove the association of emotion to your decisions and your daily activities. So let's say you have already gotten your first sale, and the amount of dopamine you get from that first sale is the same that you may get from getting your first 500 day or 1,000 day or whatever number. So it can go levels, right? So we're talking about dopamine here, right? So getting your first sale is equivalent to getting your first 1,000 day. Okay, so what it does is it creates this really high level of dopamine in your mind, and naturally you're gonna feel worse. It's gonna crash the moment you don't fulfill that same day the next day. So if you stop making sales the next day, you're gonna feel this crash, same as not getting 1,000 day the next day. Even if it was 800, you're gonna still feel like some sting of, I don't know, either like that this was not a very good day, or just regret that you didn't post one more time, and so on, you know what I mean? So, and then it's even worse if you make like 0, for example. So the point is, you're gonna always feel this crash if you don't control your mind. So the best way to think about this is to acknowledge that the mind will always have these ups and downs. So might as well just go at a equilibrium, be stoic about it, acknowledge that it might go up and or down. So the moment you get this stimulus, you just eliminate it directly. And this is nothing easy. It is not easy at all. This is something that you have to train. Just like anything in life, you need to train your mind to, get the emotion, the stimulus or the emotion from one side and then throw it from the other side. How do you do that? You may wonder. The best way to do that is to be, once again, delusional about it, that even though I made 0 the next day, I'll make it back. That's one. Number 2, speed. You're gonna have to think, what did I do on that 1,000 day that made me, do that well? Oftentimes it's because you posted more times, or your content was better, or you went viral, and so on. So I'll give you personal experience, personal story. So Q4, I saw something that, like a pattern, that every single person in my space was posting, like whatever their norm was. I say posting 3 times, 5 times a day. Personally, I was posting like 5 to 6 times a day. But when I saw this new pattern where everyone started like doubling or tripling down their input, and this is just for normal reels, let alone trial reels. I don't know how many times they were posting there. So when I saw that pattern, I instantly started, putting more input. So I increased my posts from 5 or 6 to 10 to 12. And that was one of the reasons I broke this new record, 1K plus days. So every single day or time where I get below the goal that I want, I tie it back to that day or that Q4, that, okay, I was getting these 1K days when I was putting like minimum 5 posts per day, and they were all like original and everything was perfect. I was following the new formats and so on. So what I'm trying to say here is, preferably, have some memories of what were your best days. And it's fine if you haven't still found your best days. You can learn it from me. I'm telling you, the more you put in work, the more you're gonna get out of it. The harder input, the harder output. So that's why at the start it's the hardest, right? Because you're putting a lot of posts, like maybe 10 times a day, but then you never go viral. Everything's getting like 0 to 100 views, 0 sales, and so on. That's why you need to be delusional that, okay, I'm gonna put in all of this work long enough, and then it's gonna work, right? But then what I'm talking about here is a different level. So after you start making sales, whether it's 1 sale or 100 sales, whatever it was, you're gonna still feel the same emotion that you were feeling on day 1. That's what I'm trying to say. So you need to adopt this mindset, which makes you stoic, unemotional about whatever number you get per day. just put in the same amount of work as if it was your best day. That's my best advice, okay? So these are some of the things which I just wanted to share today. The final note for the day would be stop creating mental obstacles or mental setbacks for yourself, because oftentimes the harsh reality is we are the problem. Like, we are creating these like invisible walls which are stopping us from moving forward. So that's a very like deep topic, but it's actually true. Like, oftentimes if you think long enough about why did I not, put in this extra session to record more, or why did I not do this, you always will find that, okay, you actually had time, but you spent it scrolling or wasting time, right? Or you just had some sort of, I don't know, like mental setback, usually in the form of fear or some other things. So you just need to, move forward and just keep on putting work. The best way to think about it as well is ROI. Tie everything to ROI. So right now, if you go out with your friends, is that a high ROI activity? Probably not. So might as well use that time, invest it into, working on your new product, right? If you don't have a product, use that time to find a new product. Go on your Burn account, search for new products, or go to Alibaba, search for new products. So there's always something to do, regardless of what stage you're in. So yeah, that's just, a few notes for the day. Just wanted to, touch on these topics because they're really important. And I'm actually reminding myself of these topics as I'm saying them to you, because these are some things that you're going to keep on taking with you regardless of how much you're making. These are literally mind frames that will just make you excel in life more than just dropshipping. So hopefully you guys have learned something from this. If you can relate to what I said here, feel free to subscribe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.